Now has mounted a full counterattack.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by. Primary objective achieved. Welcome back, Commander.
Hello, this is Dr. J here with Let's Play Tiberian Sun. A playthrough I've been wanting to do for a long time, really been looking forward to this one. Finally managed to resolve my technical issues where it was crashing my computer constantly so I couldn't play it. And now, at long last, I'm able to do this LP. This was probably the game that I anticipated the most in my life to date, because I had enjoyed the original Command & Conquer so much, and it was like a 4-year wait before this game came out, which nowadays wouldn't feel like all that much to me necessarily, but I was like about 16 when this game came out, and so back then 4 years was like a quarter of my lifespan. That was a long time to wait for the sequel to my favorite game ever. Did it live up to the hype that I had built up for it in my mind? Mostly yes. This game doesn't hold quite as special of a place for me as Command & Conquer and Red Alert do, but it is a close second, and was for the most part a really worthy sequel and follow-up to the original game. The biggest problem with Tiberian Sun is it was kind of unfinished. Westwood, I think, ran out of time and money before they were able to finish implementing everything they had planned for this game. And as a result, there's a variety of things that had been planned for this game that never made it in, and it's a little rough around the edges in some ways. That's probably the biggest problem, and what holds it back from, in my mind at least, truly surpassing its predecessor. Nonetheless, definitely a worthy follow-up in my opinion. I can't say I was disappointed in it. Certainly, it was a worthy sequel to my favorite game of all time. I have not played this one nearly as much as the original Command & Conquer and Red Alert, so playing it again feels a little bit more fresh for me as well. It also means I'm not going to know it quite as well. I'm not going to be quite as proficient at it as I was with the original CNC and Red Alert, just as an FYI there. Okay, so I'm going to tackle this game the same way that I did Tiberian Dawn, which is to say that the GDI and NOD campaigns can both be considered canon, with the sole exception of the final NOD mission, which, unlike in the original CNC where even the final NOD mission could easily be considered canon, in this game it definitely cannot. However, everything else in the game, including every other NOD mission except the last one, definitely can be interweaved into a single narrative. And so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be jumping back and forth between the NOD and GDI campaigns at narratively appropriate points to weave a coherent story. Now, this is not really my original idea, credit where credit is due. Sven van der Planck did that before I did. So I'm going to be following in his footsteps because I think it's a really cool way to play the game, to sort of weave that cohesive narrative. All right, so with that housekeeping out of the way, sorry, adjusting my voice volume a little bit here. Looks like it was getting into the red a little bit. Okay, I think that should be fine. With that housekeeping out of the way, we're going to go ahead and dive in. And since we're going to be playing through these missions in chronological order, we're going to start with the NOD campaign, which basically the beginning of the NOD campaign is going to cover the NOD reunification war, where NOD is fractured, and we're going to be going through a series of missions that show NOD becoming reunited under a single leader. So the first several missions are going to be that before we hop over to GDI. I'm going to leave the difficulty on normal because the way this game does hard mode is just by gimping your units and making the enemy units more powerful, which I think is a really stupid and annoying way to implement hard mode. I would play on hard if it just made the AI smarter, but it doesn't. So normal it is.
Battle Day 12-32-71. Good welcome, citizens. Our united efforts continue to be rewarded in the struggle for peace. Wherever there is oppression, Nod is there. Not with empty promises of propaganda, but with divination.
Good evening. By permission of General Hassan himself, it is with great honor that we bring you the following live execution. One vision, one purpose. Exana?
One vision, one purpose, Maycheck.
I can tell from all the Vertcom traffic tonight that this termination is a special one.
Yes, very special. I've been told the mixture this evening is 100% toxin and no sedative. If everything goes as planned, our traitor should remain fully conscious to the painful end.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
General Hassan has joined us.
One vision, one purpose. The technology of peace. Be seated. One death is not enough for Anton Slavik. For attempting to give our enemy our most vital secrets, the GDI spy should die 1,000 times. In the name of Kane. Sweet dreams, Slavik.
Dead and back, Commander. Dead and back.
Sir, it's an honor to have you back.
Traitor.
Cabal, situation.
A division of Hassan's elite guard is closing in on our position. The probability of a favorable outcome can be increased if we can return to your main base and engage the enemy as we move.
Define favorable outcome, Cabal.
They all die.
That'll do. Let's go. No man or structure stay standing.
Unit lost.
Our forces retreating from Hassan's elite guard back to our base.
Battle controls established.
All right. All right. The enemy decides to retreat when they see our base is defended by laser turrets. So we can queue up multiple units. We don't have to click every time we want to build something. It's so glorious. We're going to see that this game has better pathing than CNC and Red Alert did as well. And oh, am I going to appreciate that. As well as right-click and drag to scroll. Oh, man. So many UI improvements in this game. Alright, we got an enemy attack buggy coming at us. So I remember the first time I played this game, I was a little confused by that opening sequence. It can be a little confusing the first time, but really it's quite simple. Basically, as I said, Nod is currently fractured. Let me go ahead and put down my refinery here. Reveal some Tiberium up here. I have edited the rules.ini file so that I can queue up more than 5 units at a time, because only being able to queue up 5 units is really dumb. I don't know why it was set to that in the original. Oh, the enemy is in our base again. I'm playing at a much, much higher resolution than the game originally ran at. I'm going to appreciate having the better battlefield awareness of being able to see a lot more of the map at a time. But it is also going to make it a little harder for me to precision click on things. So there's some give and take there. But yeah, as I was saying, I remember being kind of confused by that cutscene the first time I saw it. But basically, one of the Nod generals who's kind of fighting for control of the Brotherhood of Nod is General Hassan. We're another one of those individuals, Slavic, that suave-looking blonde guy that we saw there in that opening sequence. I think Slavic's a pretty cool character. He's got kind of a little bit of evil charisma about him, though obviously not as charismatic as Kane, but he's pretty cool. And Hassan tried to frame us as a traitor, to eliminate us as one of the rivals for control of Nod. And we'll see that he had other reasons for wanting to frame us as well. And then our trusted Lieutenant Oksana came to our rescue, injected us with an antidote to the poison that they were putting into us, and killed the guards. And now we've joined the fight and are battling against Hassan for control of Nod. Surf and Turf hits the spot. I like how there's like, if you mouse over the billboards, they actually have things that they say, and they show the names for all the different civilian buildings, like Urban Storefront, Yee's Discount Liquor. Yee being one of the people who worked on this game. Alright, so we just have to sweep the map, as is usually the case for first missions. This one's incredibly easy. Very difficult to lose this mission. Porta Shack. Alright, my men are doing a pretty competent job of killing our enemies. I put them into guard mode so that they attack with some autonomy. Tiberian Sun had a lot of innovations over its predecessors, including three-dimensional terrain, which is very cool. It's a very bleak-looking game. Tiberium has just ravaged the Earth's surface by this point in the storyline, so we're not going to be seeing the beautiful green verdant battlefields of Europe like we did in the original CNC. It's all going to be bleak desert like this and some Arctic environments. But there is sort of a stark, bleak beauty to some of it. And sometimes it also just looks drab and ugly, but that's okay. It's supposed to have kind of a post-apocalyptic feel to it. Man, there's just so much that I want to say. I'm having trouble thinking of all of it. Also, where the heck are our remaining enemies? What am I missing here? I found it. The enemy's subterranean APC there, sitting in the corner of my base. Let's go destroy it.
Training. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Primary objective achieved.
Alright, mission 1 accomplished. Yeah, like I said, as is always going to be the case in the first mission, very, very easy. Just kind of getting you used to the game. Getting you used to the annoyance of having to hunt down that last enemy hiding somewhere on the map.
Just tell me Slavic is dead.
Escaped.
Do you expect me to believe that?
Framing him as one of your spies was a big mistake. He has more support than we thought.
Then, cover it up and kill him before the truth comes out. And Azan, if he gains more power, you will become useless to us. And useless things have a way of disappearing.
The result being GDI forces retreating further and losing valuable ground. In other news, Anton Slavic's body was burned in the smelting fires of an unnamed factory, as is the custom for traitors. In a related story, we were all saddened to learn that our colleague, Oksana Christos, was killed in a tunnel collapse near her home.
The death was ruled accidental by authorities.
I hear you're dead, Lieutenant. Rest in peace.
The Brotherhood is in chaos. A strategic opportunity presents itself.
They're desperate for a new leader.
When we destroy the rest of Hassan's elite guard, the people will sway with us in the name of Kane.
Kane lives in death. We've reached the Benghazi border.
The elite guard division we will engage is located here, on this island.
Take the bridge out and they're cut off. The island is a tomb.
Shut down the enemy's power and protect your own.
A large force is approaching from the south. Their directive is to protect the guard, but I think they can be persuaded otherwise. Coordinates. Broadcast studio. Get me an engineer to that TV station, and I'll take care of the rest.
Control the media. Control the mind.
Let's go.
I will say it looks like the broadcasting put out by the Brotherhood of Nod is more interesting and entertaining than most of what you see on TV and streaming services in the real world. Oh, goodness. So, here's the new mission select screen. Sometimes we have multiple missions to choose from, and unlike in previous games, where you just pick from one of a variety of missions, and then you just move on to the next one. In this game, oftentimes when you're presented with multiple missions, one of them is optional, and if you do it, it will alter the mission that comes after it, the main mission. So it's usually in your best interest to do the optional missions. In this particular case, there's only one, so we don't actually have a choice this time. And if you mouse over it, we will get Cabal. I haven't mentioned Cabal yet. So in the original Command & Conquer, Nod basically just had their own hacked copy of EVA, so you had the exact same computer adjutant for both factions. For Tiberian Sun, Nod gets the incredibly evil, demonic-sounding Cabal instead of EVA, so that helps to distinguish them a bit more. And anyway, he's going to be sort of giving us a summary of what the next mission is about.
Hassan communicates to the Brotherhood through a nearby TV station. With the Brotherhood in chaos, the opportunity to divide Hassan from his followers presents itself. Capture the TV station, and those once loyal to Kane's technology of peace will return to the fold. And as for Hassan's pathetic guards, crush them.
That is insanely loud. I am going to have to edit that volume down in post if I don't want to blow out all of my viewers' eardrums. That is ridiculously too loud.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Alright, so this time we've got an MCV.
To deploy a vehicle, select it. Place the cursor over the vehicle and left-click on it.
I am one of Nod's most elite generals. I don't need your basic instructions about how to deploy MCVs, Cabal. But obviously we're still getting tutorialized on how to play the game at this point, just in case you haven't played a Command & Conquer game before. See more of that three-dimensional terrain and stuff. And the vehicles are done with voxel technology, actually. So they're not sprites and they're not 3D models. They're voxel-based. And therefore, they can rotate freely and can actually rotate with, I think, 6 degrees of freedom, I believe would be mathematically correct. So they don't just rotate around a single axis, and that's why you can have them at interesting angles like this. The way that buggy is sitting on that slope there. And that way Westwood didn't have to make like 80 bazillion individual images for each unit to try to show it from every possible angle when they can rotate on multiple axes. Alkaline's Battery Superstore. I have mixed feelings about the look of the voxel units. Some of them look pretty cool, others don't look great. For example, we'll run into mammoth tanks from the First Tiberian War, and I don't think they look that good. I think the sprite-based original mammoth tanks actually looked much better. But that's just my opinion. The infantry have been scaled up, which makes them easier to see and distinguish. But their scale is also completely wrong. They just look ridiculously huge now, to an extent that's actually kind of silly. I actually kind of preferred when they were smaller and looked a little bit more realistically to scale with everything else. I know that sometimes, like in my CNC playthrough, I struggled identifying individual infantry units. And that kind of thing is the reason that Westwood made this change, I'm pretty sure. But the reason that I struggled was because I was, A, playing the game at a way higher resolution than it was originally intended for, and B, I was playing it in windowed mode, and it looked very, very small on my screen. So if I hadn't been recording it, I'd have just been playing it full screen, and I wouldn't have really had those problems identifying the infantry. So, in my opinion, it's not really that much of an issue. It was only an issue for my playthrough because of those special circumstances. So yeah, I like the way that it looked originally better, because it just looked more to scale. These infantry just look comically huge. They're much too big. Bridge out. Alright, so we can already build a war factory. Very, very early in the campaign that we actually get to build vehicles in the Nod campaign here. And they're not lying, the bridge is out. Now, if there was a bridge hut on this side, we could put an engineer into it and fix the bridge. Another innovation for this game. But there isn't a hut on this side of the bridge, so we can't fix it from here. Alright, let's do some more scouting. One of the major new aspects of Nod is that, as we saw when the enemy attacked us with subterranean APCs in Mission 1, Nod has a lot of burrowing units in Tiberian Sun. They really like to go underground, which I guess is kind of how they help to they try to avoid GDI's notice, and also are not so easy to target with things like airstrikes and the ion cannon when they make a lot of use of underground tunnels and such. So I like that bit of flavoring. I think it's pretty cool. It makes sense. It helps to kind of underline Nod's guerrilla flavor. Alright, and we have found an enemy base here. We were getting hit by the laser turret, so now our buggy is pretty messed up. And let me just review my objectives again real quick. Capture the TV station. Okay. As I said, I have not played through this game nearly as many times as Tib Dawn and Red Alert, so I'm not going to know the missions as well. That's going to have the simultaneous effect of, in some ways, being more fun and interesting for me, and also means I'm not going to know what I'm doing quite as much. Alright, let's build some buggies. Looks like buggies are all that we get access to, and harvesters. So even though we can build a war factory, we're not getting access to any particularly impressive tech. Even with 2 refineries, our economy is not particularly fast here. I might want to build a 3rd one. Alright, let's find that TV station. We can also go under bridges now, which is pretty cool. I like that too. So many fun innovations in this game. Okay, so they're planning to destroy the bridge. But here's the bridge repair hut. Yep, and so even though they blew the bridge, we're going to be able to repair it. We're going to have to destroy this laser guarding the bridge. Oh, and we're getting tutorialized on how to repair bridges, just in case we didn't already know. I think the resolution the game, tactics games rock. I agree entirely. I think the resolution the game originally ran at was 800 by 600, and here I'm running at 1280 by 720, I believe. So I can see a lot more of the map than I would have been able to, or I would have seen when I was playing this game originally. Which makes for a fairly different experience. I wouldn't say it's either a better or worse experience. It's just a bit different. Like I said, it's a give and take of I have much better situational awareness and can see much more of the battlefield, but it's harder to click with great precision because everything is so small. Where is my engineer? There he is. And we're going to want another engineer to capture the TV station as well. And just because most of my force is away from my base, just in the unlikely event we get attacked, is why I'm putting down a couple lasers for defense. Lasers are nice because they're very general purpose. They are reasonably good against both infantry and vehicles. So unlike in Tib Dawn, where Nod pretty much only had a anti-vehicle basic defense structure, the turret, meaning that they really were not any good at dealing with infantry, at least with their static defenses. Alright, we've repaired the bridge. In this game, they have much more capable defenses, with the basic lasers really being quite good. Alright, let's secure the TV station, which is right here. And it looks like there's also a greenhouse. Porta Shack Deluxe, so we've got, I suppose, they grow food in the greenhouse, and they've got accommodations. So I guess some of the staff pretty much just, okay, you guys are not taking a good path. So I guess some of the staff pretty much just live right here. Oh, glad that I put those defenses down. Alright, I know that I can set waypoints and stuff, but... Ah, there he is. Get over there. Get in the TV station. But right now I just don't feel like messing with the UI, figuring out exactly how that works. My power is very borderline. Let's take care of that. Okay, guys. Go up here, okay? There. With rocket soldiers, we'll be better able to deal with vehicles and stuff. What's going on? Oh, we're being attacked. So basic infantry have actually gotten more expensive. They're now 120 instead of 100. Which at a glance seems a little ridiculous. Okay, so now we are broadcasting.
We have been touched by the spirit hand of Kane and are ready to serve the technology of peace.
Alright, and thanks to Oksana's propaganda, these reinforcements join with us. Excellent. Together with the forces that we already have in place, we should be able to seize this base. But as I was saying, at a glance it seems ridiculous that infantry have gotten more expensive because they were already kind of underpowered as it was in Tib Dawn and Red Alert. And, you know, now they just cost even more. That said, it's not necessarily as unbalanced as it seems at first, because infantry have become a bit more durable. Now, there are still things that can kill them very, very quickly, like flame weaponry. And they can still get squashed. But they're even more resistant to, like, cannons than they used to be, and it takes more, like, machine gun fire to kill them than it used to. I guess they have better body armor. It's going to take forever to kill that harvester. Oh, I have some rocket soldiers. That'll help it go faster. That may be the last enemy on the map. Oh, nope. There's another enemy base down there we're going to have to deal with. Okay. In that case, let's build some more units just in case we end up needing them. Also, these are cyborgs. We can't build them in this mission, but they joined us, thanks to Oksana's propaganda. Oh, and there's a subterranean APC there we're probably going to have to destroy. Cyborgs are very strong. They've got a chain gun. It's basically like if they were equipped with, say, the guard tower weapon from Tib Dawn, so it's pretty good. They're very durable, and when they get reduced to 0 hit points, they don't actually die, their legs just get blown off, which makes them slower, but also actually makes them take less damage. And then you have to destroy them in that form before they're gone for good. Excuse me. So, cyborgs are an excellent unit. They're actually kind of ridiculous. Overall, especially in the original Tiberian Dawn, this becomes less true in the expansion Firestorm. But in the original game especially, I would say Nod is just straight up the stronger faction. That they are stronger than GDI. Cyborgs are one reason. I don't think cyborgs are super overpowered or anything, but for their cost, they're pretty good, and they're arguably better than the GDI closest equivalent, which I guess would be the Wolverine. I would much rather have cyborgs than Wolverines. But the real reason that Nod is by far the stronger faction, we're going to see that in quite a few missions into the future. There is one particular unit that is just absurdly overpowered in this game. Like, it's just no question. There is no debate. It's ridiculously too strong. And it's one of the Nod units. And thankfully it got nerfed in Firestorm, because it's really idiotic how overpowered it is in the original. But yeah, that means for the entire original campaign, once we get access to that unit as Nod, it's going to make things a lot easier. Oh, they sold off, so now we will just eliminate all the remaining units, and it should be a good game to us. And once we have to face those enemies as GDI in the GDI campaign, they're going to be a real pain to deal with. I'm sure most of the people watching this probably know exactly what unit I'm referring to. I don't think there's really any mystery. But just in case anybody watching this actually isn't sure what unit I'm referring to, I will keep the mystery alive and reveal its identity once we get to it. Chase down these last guys. Get wrecked. Hassan, you're just a GDI puppet. Well done to us. Alright, that's the first 2 Nod missions complete. Looks like I've been at this for over half an hour, so I think that's going to be good for the first video. Next up, we'll proceed on with the Nod campaign as we continue the Nod reunification war, trying to eliminate our rival Hassan and reunite Nod under our banner. So, hopefully you'll join me for that, and I'll see you then.